More on our top story now, the political agreement between protest leaders and the ruling military council in Sudan. Madibo is founder and president of the Sudan Policy Forum, joins us live on set here in Doha. So it would appear as if this is some sort of breakthrough. Do you consider it so?
This is a classic example of amateurish politics. You know, the forces of freedom and change tightened the rope at the time when they should have loosened it, and they loosened it at the time when they should have tightened it. They reached for, there was no reason for them to have sacrificed the souls of those 114 civilians if they were to reach for an agreement that is poorer or equal to the agreement that was reached before.
You're saying that this could have been done a long time ago without
Absolutely.
So much horrible violence and people. So why wasn't it?
I think they were less experienced. They didn't have consensus among them, because you do have about 5 groups within the Forces of Freedom and Change, and each group constitutes of different factions. So I think they had some difficulty reaching for some consensus. But now the challenge is, I mean, previously they were capable of putting pressure on the Transitional Military Council. Now the pressure is on the Forces of Freedom and Change.
To deliver?
To put together a Prime Minister's office, one that is representative of the Sudanese people, and more importantly, an effective body, a more efficient body. They used a preemptive approach of releasing some lists of names, informally speaking, but in those lists, you can see that there is a total absence of proper procedures followed to find the best candidate. It is more or less candidates that are highly politicized. If you look at the Sovereign Council, it's not representative of the whole Sudanese nation. It's mainly representative of some individuals from the middle of the Sudan.
Okay, so there's still a large challenge, is what you're saying, for the civilian side. What's going to keep the military side in check?
If the Forces of Freedom and Change put a body that is convincing to the Sudanese people, they can very much depend on the masses. They don't have any leverage apart from them depending on the masses. If they lose the masses, they lose the trust of the masses, they are going to be in a very weak situation, at which case the military is going to take over power completely, and there is going to be another coup d'etat. If the situation goes like this, and the Transitional Military Council shows some seriousness in wanting to submit power to the civilians, my surmise is that the old guards, the Islamists, are going to take over.
How significant do you think needs to be an investigation and some accountability into what we were just talking about? So many people lost their lives. There was sexual violence as well. Where's the pressure going to come from to make sure there is some accountability for what happened? It
has to be regional and international pressure, because remember, we are not only investigating the massacre of 114 individuals. There are 300,000 people, civilians, mainly civilians, killed in Darfur. And some of the members of the Transitional Military Council are already enlisted in the ICC. So it's a long road, and it has to be walked in the Chilean manner. Remember the Chicago schoolboys, when they came to power, they didn't confront Pinochet immediately, but gradually they brought him to justice. But the difference between the Chicago schoolboys and the Forces of Freedom and Change is that the Chicago schoolboys had a very well sorted out plan. The Forces of Freedom and Change don't seem to have that plan.
We'll have to see if that plan comes together. Thank you so much, Madibo. We appreciate it.